Plymouth at 6 degrees this morning, Aberdeen at 9. Yes, you heard that right. The southwest colder than the northeast of Scotland. Is your area about to face the most unpredictable February week we've seen in years? Currently, 3 Met Office yellow warnings are active across England and Wales, affecting over 12 million people, with persistent rain already causing localised flooding in Somerset and Gloucestershire. In the next 12 minutes, I'll give you exact timings for when conditions change in your location, why the models are disagreeing about the weekend, and which areas could see something completely unexpected by Friday. Drop your location in the comments right now, and I'll include personalised updates in tomorrow's forecast. Right then, let me get straight to the specifics. London, 14 degrees today, dropping to 11 tomorrow. But here, what matters more. Rain arrives tonight around 8 o'clock. Heaviest between midnight and 4 in the morning, clearing by breakfast time. Manchester currently 12 degrees, rising to 13 tomorrow, staying unsettled with showers throughout the day, particularly heavy during the afternoon commute between 4 and 6. Birmingham steady at 12 degrees through to tomorrow. The main concern isn't temperature. It's the persistent drizzle that continues well into Thursday morning, making conditions rather unpleasant for the morning rush. Edinburgh, 9 degrees today, holding at 9 tomorrow, mostly dry but rather grey, the cloud base sitting frustratingly low across the city throughout the day. Cardiff, 13 degrees, dropping to 10 tomorrow with strengthening southwesterly winds, gusting to 60 kilometres per hour along the coast, making it feel considerably colder. Belfast, 10 degrees and remarkably dry for the next 24 hours, making the most of a brief ridge of high pressure. Now, there's one thing about this week's pattern that concerns me most, and I'll explain exactly why in about 3 minutes. But first, let's address what is happening across the wider UK because the picture is rather complex. The Met Office model is showing a deep Atlantic low-pressure system approaching from the west, currently positioned about 800 kilometres off the Irish coast, tracking northeastward. This system is forecast to bring a swathe of heavy rain across Ireland initially, then into Western Britain through Wednesday night. The European model, however, is taking this low on a slightly more northerly track, which would mean heavier rain for Scotland and northern England, whilst the south could escape with lighter amounts. This 50-kilometre difference in track changes everything for your Wednesday night and Thursday plans. For those of you in Glasgow, URE currently at 10 degrees, tomorrow looking at 11, and if the Met Office model is correct, you will see rain developing Wednesday evening, heavy at times overnight with 15 to 25 millimetres likely. Aberdeen, 9 degrees today, 10 tomorrow, potentially seeing the heaviest rainfall Thursday morning if that European model solution plays out. Inverness, 8 degrees, and actually one of the drier spots in Scotland today, but that changes dramatically Wednesday night. Newcastle, 11 degrees, staying at 11 tomorrow, rain arrives early Thursday morning, coinciding unfortunately with the morning rush hour. Leeds, 12 degrees through tomorrow, scattered showers today, becoming more organised into longer spells of rain Wednesday night. Liverpool, 13 degrees, dropping to 12. Wind shifts Thursday morning from southwesterly to westerly, bringing cooler air off the Irish Sea, introducing showery conditions rather than persistent rain. Sheffield, 11 degrees steady, expecting rain Wednesday night into Thursday. Nottingham, 12 degrees, rain lighter than further north. Bristol, 13 degrees today, 11 tomorrow, positioned right on the southern edge of the heaviest rainfall. Wait until you see what's coming for the weekend. But I need to explain the current setup first because it matters for understanding why Friday through Sunday is so uncertain. We've got a battle between air masses developing. Cold air is building across Scandinavia, whilst mild Atlantic air continues to push in from the west. The jet stream is positioned right across the UK, creating a zone of uncertainty that stretches from Cornwall to Kent. Southampton, 14 degrees today, dropping to 12 tomorrow. You are in that zone of maximum uncertainty for the weekend. Brighton, 13 degrees today. Similar story, could be mild and wet or cooler and showery depending on which air mass wins out. Oxford, 12 degrees, mainly dry today. Rain Wednesday night, clearing Thursday afternoon. Cambridge, 11 degrees steady, slightly drier than areas further west. Norwich, 10 degrees rising to 12, one of the drier spots in eastern England. Leicester, 12 degrees, persistent rain Wednesday night. Exeter, 13 degrees today, 11 tomorrow, heavy rain, potentially 20 to 30 millimetres Wednesday night. Plymouth, 6 degrees this morning, recovering to 10 tomorrow, heavy rain, Wednesday evening through Thursday morning. Now, do check back tomorrow because we should have much clearer data on that weekend pattern I mentioned. The morning model runs will be absolutely crucial. Let me explain why this matters for your plans. If the cold air wins out, we are looking at temperatures dropping by 4 to 6 degrees across the board, scattered showers, some of them heavy, possibly wintry over higher ground in Scotland. If the Atlantic air dominates, temperatures stay mild, closer to average for early February, but with spells of rain, potentially heavy at times. The current best guess, and I stress this could change, is a split scenario. Northern areas seeing cooler, showery conditions, southern areas staying milder but wetter. York, 11 degrees steady, rain Thursday morning, improving afternoon. Scarborough, 10 degrees, rain Thursday, but wind is your bigger concern, strengthening to 70 kilometres per hour. Blackpool, 12 degrees, gusts to 75 kilometres per hour Thursday afternoon. Chester, 12 degrees, rain Wednesday night, winds blustery but not as strong as coastal areas. Stoke, 11 degrees, heavier rain arrives late Wednesday. For South Wales, Swansea at 12 degrees, heavy rain. Wednesday night, 30 to 40 millimetres possible in the hills, winds gusting to 80 kilometres per hour on exposed coasts. Bangor, 11 degrees, rain Wednesday evening through Thursday morning. Northern Ireland, Belfast at 10, Derry at 9, both relatively settled today and tomorrow. Rain arrives Thursday, but lighter than across Britain. Here what nobody talking about yet. There a secondary low-pressure system developing Friday, currently showing up on the extended model runs, positioned to affect southern areas Friday night into Saturday. The uncertainty around this system is significant because it depends entirely on the evolution of that primary system I mentioned. If the primary low clears quickly eastward, the secondary develops and brings heavy rain to the southeast. If it stalls, the secondary merges with it, creating a more complex, slower-moving system. We'll know more tomorrow. Brighton, Dover, Folkestone, Canterbury, all watching potential disruption Friday night if that secondary develops. Dover specifically, 13 degrees tomorrow, potentially dropping to 8 Friday if colder air gets drawn in. Channel crossings could be affected by strong winds Friday afternoon. Portsmouth, 14 degrees, rain Wednesday night. Reading, 13 degrees, positioned in that weekend uncertainty zone. Let me address Scotland in more detail because the picture up there is particularly complex. Edinburgh, 9 degrees as mentioned, but what matters is the snow level. Currently, the freezing level is around 800 metres, dropping to 500 metres Thursday as that colder air moves in. This means the Cairngorms, the Highlands, any routes over high ground could see snow Thursday afternoon and evening. Glasgow, 10 degrees in the city, but the surrounding hills could see sleet mixing in Thursday evening. Aberdeen, the most likely city to see sleet at lower levels if the European model is correct about that northerly track. Inverness, snow almost certain on higher ground Thursday. Roads over the high passes could be affected. For those planning travel Thursday, the A9 north of Perth, the A83 over the rest and be thankful, the M74 high sections, all worth checking before you set out. The Met Office will likely issue ice warnings for Thursday night across Scotland. Actually, the latest update suggests amber warnings are possible for parts of the Highlands if snowfall is heavier than forecast. Back to England, and I want to focus on what's happening across the Midlands because there is an interesting temperature profile developing. Coventry, 12 degrees, Birmingham 12, Derby 11, all very similar now, but by Friday there's potentially a 3-degree spread depending on wind direction. The dividing line between milder and cooler air could set up right across this region. Worcester, 12 degrees, potentially on the milder side of that boundary. Wolverhampton, 11 degrees, could go either way. This is exactly the kind of setup that makes forecasting challenging, but also makes tomorrow's update essential viewing. Moving to the northwest, the Irish Sea is playing a crucial role. Anywhere exposed to westerly winds off the sea runs cooler than inland areas. Carlisle, 9 degrees, warmer than the coast despite being further north. Lancaster, 10 degrees, feeling closer to 6 or 7 in the wind. Barrow, 9 degrees, exposed to full westerly flow. Preston, 11 degrees, slightly sheltered. The southwest has its own complications. Cornwall surrounded by warm ocean water. Penzance, 12 degrees, Truro, 12, Newquay, 13, all quite mild despite that Plymouth anomaly this morning from clear skies overnight. When rain arrives Wednesday night, it'll be heavy. The high ground of Dartmoor, Bodmin Moor, Exmoor rings moisture from southwesterly winds. Totnes, 13 degrees, expecting 40 to 50 millimetres on higher ground. The east coast gets a Fohan effect when winds are westerly or southwesterly, slight warming and drying as air descends the Pennines. Hull, 12 degrees tomorrow, staying relatively dry Thursday. Grimsby, 11 degrees, similar story. Boston, 12 degrees, the Lincolnshire Fens staying drier. Friday, if winds shift northerly or northeasterly, this area becomes exposed to North Sea showers. The Channel Islands, Jersey and Guernsey, both at 14 degrees, mildest UK locations, staying mild through the week. Rain Wednesday night arrives here first, heaviest between 6 evening and midnight. The Isles of Scilly, 13 degrees, even milder, exposed to full Atlantic force, winds gusting to 90 kilometres per hour, Wednesday night possible. One location could see something unexpected, the Welsh borders, specifically around Hereford and the Black Mountains. If the primary low tracks slightly further south, this area could see localised flooding concerns. Hereford, 12 degrees, 50 to 70 millimetres possible on hills. Abergavenny, 11 degrees, similar concerns. Back to the weekend uncertainty. Saturday morning, if the cold scenario wins, temperatures across Scotland 2 to 4 degrees, England and Wales 6 to 8, scattered showers, snow on Scottish mountains. If mild scenario wins, 8 to 10 Scotland, 11 to 13 England and Wales, cloudy with rain outbreaks, particularly western areas. Sunday looks slightly more settled regardless, but confidence is low. I know this isn't ideal for anyone with weekend plans, but this is the reality of early February weather patterns in the UK. The Atlantic is active, we in a changeable westerly regime, and small shifts in system tracks make enormous differences to local conditions. Whilst the European model suggests one solution, the Met Office model suggests another, and the American GFS model has yet another idea. This divergence in models at day 5 and beyond is completely normal, but it means we need to wait for more data. For Monday of next week, there are very early signals of high pressure trying to build from the south. If this happens, we could finally see a few days of settled weather. But it is too early to have any confidence in that. What I can say with more certainty is that this week, specifically Wednesday night and Thursday, will be unsettled across most areas. The rain will be heavy at times, the winds will be strong, particularly western and southern coasts, and travel disruption is likely Thursday morning. Let me give you some practical advice for the next few days. If you are commuting Thursday morning, leave extra time. Surface water will be an issue on roads, spray will reduce visibility, and there will likely be delays on rail networks, particularly routes affected by flooding in Somerset and Gloucestershire. Thursday afternoon improves for most areas. Friday is a transition day, cooler air moving in from the north, scattered showers replacing the persistent rain. Saturday and Sunday, as I've explained, remain uncertain, but I'll have much better information tomorrow. For those who have dropped their location in the comments already, thank you. I'll make sure tomorrow's forecast includes more specific details for your area. If you haven't commented yet, please do. It genuinely helps me tailor these forecasts to what you actually need to know. Tomorrow morning S-Update will be crucial for finalizing weekend plans, so do check back around the same time. One final point about the medium range outlook. Week commencing the 10th of February, there is a possibility of more settled conditions developing, but we're also seeing signals of colder air potentially pushing further south from Scandinavia. If this happens, we could see our first proper cold snap of the year, temperatures well below average, overnight frost becoming widespread, possibly some snow to lower levels. But this is 10 days out. Models change significantly at this range, so take it as a heads up rather than a firm forecast. The jet stream position over the next fortnight will be absolutely critical. Currently at S positioned right across the UK, creating this zone of battling air masses I mentioned. If it shifts north, we get milder Atlantic air dominating, wet and windy but mild. If it shifts south, we're exposed to colder continental air from the east, drier but much colder. The current consensus is that it remains close to the UK, meaning continued unsettled conditions, but with temperature swings depending on which side of it we are on. Right, let me give you tomorrow's tease because there is something rather unusual showing up on the very latest model run that came in whilst I was preparing this forecast. There is a possibility, and I stress this is just a possibility at this stage, that the temperature contrast across the UK on Friday could be the largest we've seen in months. We could be looking at a 15-degree difference between the far north of Scotland and the south coast of England. If this materialises, it creates some fascinating weather patterns, including the potential for thunderstorms along that boundary zone. I'll be examining this in detail tomorrow morning. Thank you so much for watching, and please, if you found this helpful, drop your location in the comments. The more specific you can be, the better I can make tomorrow's forecast for your area. I genuinely read every comment and use them to focus on the areas people care about most. Tomorrow's update will be available at the same time, around 7 in the morning, and we should have considerably more clarity on that weekend pattern. Until then, stay dry, stay safe, and I'll